In DC, for DC. DC Radio, 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Inside Style, DCRadio.gov 96.3 HD4. I'm your host, George Worrell, and today we are chatting with Devin Carroll. She's the marketing manager at Kendra Scott in Georgetown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's really weird how we met. I was in Georgetown on last Saturday. And I was walking, it was a nice day, and I looked in the window. Now, I have walked by Kendra Scott many times, and I didn't go in. And something said, go in. And I'm like, I went in, and it was like going into a wonderland, literally. And you happened to be there, and I thought, wow, I saw the jewelry. I'm a jewelry person. And I thought, this would be something that I'd like to talk further about. And so you were very kind, and thank you for coming today. So tell us a little bit about Kendra Scott and what you do there. And
Yeah, well, I am so glad you stopped in.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to miss our store. And then as you were discussing before, once you're inside, it's even brighter than on the outside. So so Kendra Scott started in 2002. Kendra herself was a single mom. She had $500 in a spare bedroom. So that is when she made her first collection, kind of went door to door to generate some interest. Fast forward to 2020, we now have over 100 stores open. We're also in some department stores like Nordstrom. Here in the DC area where I do my work, and a little bit in Philly as well, we have 4 locations. So you saw Georgetown. We also have Mosaic District out in Fairfax, Bethesda Row, and Reston Town Center. But here in the area, Georgetown is our newest store. So we're very happy to be a part of the DC community.
So a little bit about her. She just figured out one day for what she was doing. Like you told me that she was a mom, and she just thought one day, like, this is something I wanted to do. Is there a background to that about jewelry, or? She
always had a great eye for gemstones and color, and she was very creative, and she has a wonderful entrepreneurial spirit and really wonderful energy about her. So this wasn't her first stab at starting her own business. I believe she was about 19 when she opened what was called the Hat Box.
Okay.
And it was hats specially made for those undergoing chemotherapy. And she was inspired by her stepdad at the time, who was going through that experience. Unfortunately, that did not work out for her, but a few years later, she decided to take her love for all things colorful and move into the jewelry space. And create a collection and a company that was approachable. So when you came into our store, it's bright, but it's not intimidating. We encourage you to touch and pick up and feel and try things on. We don't want all glass cases. So that was the experience she wanted to create.
Yeah, and you got a feeling of being welcomed, because usually you didn't know if it was like really high end or, someone's going to be watching you. There were no like a guard or check your bag, none of those kinds of things. So that was welcoming as well. And like I said, the staff was very welcoming, and I loved that it was affordable. Like, it was chic, it was nice, it was well made. And these are the things that we talk about here on Inside Style, and that I talk about personally, is that you do not have to spend a lot of money to get quality.
Right.
So how does she feel about, obviously she does feel good about it, but is that part of what you guys do and giving back to those who are coming in and looking for that quality? Are you emphasizing, yes, because you'll look at the bracelet that I got and I'm like, okay, this is going to be like $1,500, at least, and it wasn't. So Is that your philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want that surprise factor. We want someone coming in and either shopping for themselves or a special someone, and look at something and say, oh, wow, that's really special. They're really going to, that'll be a gift that they'll always remember, and they pick it up and look at the price point and realize that it really is attainable. Of course, we do have our fine jewelry collection, which is also very much attainable, but that is your solid gold and your real diamonds. So we do have a few cases where we really can have customers shop that higher end. But for the most part, everything from our color bar to our new collections is going to be in a price point anywhere between $38 to around $200. So everyone can feel comfortable shopping.
Shopping, and you don't think twice.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so wherever it is, you can bring your kids in and they can purchase something. Valentine's Day is coming up, so people are thinking about gifts. for mom, for girlfriend, engagements. Like everybody in your store was getting engaged. I need to come and work at that store, including you. So congratulations.
Thank
but
you.
I was just like, everybody's getting engaged. I'm like, this
Something
is great.
in the water.
There's something in the water at Kendra Scott. And what also intrigued me was that you guys have a mission and you give back. Tell us a little bit about the giving back to the community and what that philosophy is about.
Absolutely. Well, my full title is Marketing and Philanthropic Manager. So obviously, philanthropy is a very large part of what we do. Our core values are fashion, family, and philanthropy. So there are individuals in my position all over the country, plus all of our fabulous store teams that make sure that we are really, whether it's in a simple moment of surprise gifting a mom who's had a really difficult day, or raising hundreds or thousands of dollars for a local nonprofit, whatever it is, we want to give back. And Kendra Scott always says that the truest form of success is giving back in a meaningful way. So we were able to support a little under 7,000 causes just in 2019 nationwide. Here in the DC area, we've raised about $60,000 from families to hospitals to local nonprofits, across our 4 stores. So it really makes the work we do empowering, that we can turn around and say, yes, we can. We don't say no. We want to help, and we want to be there to build our communities up.
So she feels like when she first started and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, that she wants to empower others to do the same thing, not only just buy it and giving back, but also starting it. To look well when you're going on interviews or selling something is a great part of what you do. And for those who, the 2020 season, we're kicking off a new YouTube channel. And so you will be able to not only hear us, but see us. You brought us some things here today. Let's kind of describe what we have. Let's start with the pendant I see here.
Yes, so this is a kind of a sneak peek. This is from our spring collection, which actually doesn't launch until Wednesday, February 5th. What I love about this collection is that it's a lot of the fan favorites reimagined. So this pendant necklace, this shape, the Danielle shape, has been around for quite some time. We call it our iconic shape. But this reed necklace now has an added touch. That macrame metal around the side is new. So it's kind of a new version of something that we've seen for a while. And I know you were very excited about this, but these cuffs, when you saw them in store, once in a while in our collections, we will really bring out a fun statement cuff. So this is our Haley cuff for spring 2020.
Yeah, which is...
Yep. It's right here. It's adjustable, comes in about 3 different metals, really has a beautiful kind of floral motif, and it's kind of a showstopper.
I love those. And so for those who may not know, like, I'm old enough to think, like, when we saw jewelry that was not gold or it was not silver, it's going to turn. That's no more, right? Explain that, how that works.
Right. So for our fashion jewelry, we do brass plated. So as long as you're not swimming, showering, working out in our jewelry, each piece comes with a gray pouch to keep it in, to kind of shine it, to clean it. But we do not see that. And if for whatever reason, you accidentally get it wet, or you just love it so much you don't take it off, and you are feeling like you're seeing some wear and tear, come into the store, no questions asked. We'll absolutely replace it for you. Oh,
that's amazing. So I see you have another color pendant on the side on top of the box.
Yep, so this is actually how that Danielle shape started in our Danielle earrings. So you can see it's the same shape. It has this fun macrame, but this is kind of a new stone. This is our blush wood.
Why is it called Danielle?
That's a great question. Kendra has named all of her pieces and shapes after either someone she knows or employees over the last 18 or so years. The Danielle is something that's been around for, I believe, at least 10 or so.
Do you think we can get the George at some point?
Yeah, we can work on that. Would you like a cuff? George cuff?
Yeah, a George cuff. Yeah, a Giorgio or something.
Yes. Yes, and this is our Elton bracelet. This is one of my first pieces, but this macrame detailing, this is absolutely brand new, and inside is a nude abalone stone. So our abalone stone has definitely been a favorite. It's just a natural shell, so it takes on a lot of different colors. So this is the first time we're doing it in nude. This
looks like red carpet jewelry. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do this for evening, daytime, all of these things, and it gives bling. And, there's a lot of things that are happening. Used to, Washington wasn't the place for, glitz and glamour. Everything was just kind of political. But now, you have a budding film community, radio community, TV community. People are filming here. People are doing things here, and they're going out, and they're looking fabulous. And that's that black, gray, blue colored town anymore. There's an element of excitement because of the administration locally, meaning the mayor and the council. You have younger, more vibrant people, as well as we have students and young people, millennials, who are designing T-shirts and, coming out with fashion lines and those kinds of things. So to have this here just kind of partners with what's happening in Washington.
And one of my favorite things about visiting one of our stores is seeing who comes in. You have your 13-year-old girl who's coming in after school with her friends. You have the grandmother who's shopping for herself and for all the other women in her life. So I think, that's very much correct, is we're having fun watching people experiment and use our color bar, as you did, to get creative. And if they do want to wear that little black dress, we have a pop of color for them.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us just a bit about you. Where do you hail from? And what brought you to Kendra Scott, all of that. Tell us a bit about that.
So I am originally, we discussed this, I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
So I went to school nearby at University of Maryland. Quickly found an internship I loved that turned into a job and kept me in D.C. for the last 8 or so years. And I had always been familiar with Kendra Scott. I had knew of the location on Bethesda Row, and I really was just looking for something a little bit more challenging, a field I've never really been in before. I was at a couple of tech companies, and I've never really done fashion or retail.
So what was your major?
So I was communications with a focus in PR, public relations.
Okay.
So it was a whole new world for me to have a physical, tangible product in front of me that I was responsible for creating marketing and events and partnerships around. So I really enjoyed that challenge. And also it's really hard not to love Kendra herself. You listen to her story, you look at the brand, it's bright, it's inviting. I was just really excited to get more involved. And Saturday marks my 4-year anniversary with Kendra Scott. So this past Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been great.
So what do you see ahead for what you do, challenges that you see that you guys can get a hold of and say, hey, this is something that we can partner with you on? Give us some of those examples.
Absolutely. Well, I think for me here locally, making sure that Kendra Scott is a part of these large cultural events. So when you think DC, the things you think of, the Cherry Blossom Festival, which we're sponsoring this year, maybe some events surrounding the White House, some red carpet opportunities, which I know you're familiar with. We want to be the go-to brand to not only be worn and to be seen, but also to support and to give back. So I think for me is making sure anything big happening in DC, we have a hand in it and we're supporting it.
And you and I talked a bit about, and we're going to talk more, is that my company works with the Marion Barry Summer Youth Program, ages 14 to 17.
Yes.
And you guys coming in and partnering with us and seeing if we can get the young people interested. I know they are interested in the jewelry, but just finding out the mechanics of it, the retail piece of it, if you are a seller, if you are a maker, if you're a designer. Because a lot of times, and even adults, really don't know what they want to do. And it's really nice to know at an early age that you are developing a path. And even if it diverts, if it goes this way, if it goes that way, you have that experience. I think people are not like my parents did, knock wood, that they had one government job all of their lives. That's not happening now. People are getting degrees. They, may become a lawyer. They practice for like a year, and then they start designing or they start traveling. So it's good to have those options here. So do you like being in the city and seeing what's going on and the changes?
Absolutely. I mean, even in the last 4 years, we have been able to have some more hands-on opportunities for local schools and programs and nonprofits. We recently have partnered, last 2 years, we partnered with an organization called Fair Girls, and we have an event with them coming up just before Valentine's Day. And we invited 4 young women to come in and to sit at the color bar and have their own private session and to design and to name these pieces, and they will be on display at the event in Georgetown on the 12th. So you could just see their creative juices flowing. Their eyes got really big when we said, this is yours for the afternoon or for the next hour. This color bar is yours to get creative and to design and to express yourself. And almost each and every one of them, as they were leaving, felt a little bit more invested in retail and design and, customers, whatever it was, whatever they experienced with us, they wanted to take that away with them. So that's been really, really impactful here to be able to invite these women in.
Ah, that's nice. And so going forward, you are going to be for Valentine's Day. You told me that there was like this amazing thing that's going to be happening at Kendra Scott. Tell me some of the products and some of the things that you guys are doing for Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. So you saw our Love Knot collection when you came in. It's front and center in front of our store last week. It's been out since about early to mid-January, but it's been fun watching it grow. I know we know the Love Knot is a timeless jewelry technique that's been around for some time.
Is that what you?
Yes. So this is the Presley choker necklace,
Okay.
and I'm wearing the ring stack as well. So, you hear Love Knot and you think bond, you think, love, mutual. So we were really excited to roll that out and see how it was received. And it has been definitely a favorite. I hope that just continues to grow in the next couple of weeks as we get closer to Valentine's Day. But as I mentioned, we do have our new spring collection coming out on the 5th. So that is a really great gift idea to say, hey, this is brand new. You might be the first person to have this.
And then, you can see the boxes here, and if they go online, they'll be able to see it as well. But it's wrapped so elegantly and so lovely. Like, you can spend $38 and it looks like you spent $3,800, which is really cool. Another fascinating thing that I love is that your things are unisex. Like, they're not specific for any one gender. Billy Porter's doing a whole lot of the, just kind of being out there and gender, meshing. I love that most of these things, if not all, men and women can wear. So was that a thought in the design? Or
I think so. I think it is. I mean, we have male employees in many of our stores, and the way they layer their necklaces and their bracelet stacks, they get very creative. It looks really, really great. Your bracelet looks great.
Yeah, and I got a charm. I loved it. I like the choker, the ring, all of these things I would wear. And if you're studying history, all of these things men wore in the 17th and 18th century. So it's new probably to people who, in the 21st century, 20th century, but it's just fashion repeats itself. So it's not like it's gender bending. It's probably male first and then second. So that was her outlook in saying, hey, I want everyone to be able to wear what I design.
Right. We want it to be accessible and inviting for everyone. And we always push creativity. So if you want to come in and layer on 4 or 5 different necklaces as a man or woman, we fully encourage that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So does Kendra Scott ever come to Washington, or does she travel? Or
She does travel a lot. She's very, very busy. She does a lot of speaking engagements. She does a lot of events at hospitals throughout the country. She is based in Austin, so we are looking forward to having her in DC soon. We don't have an exact date, but we would love to have her in the DMV area.
Yeah, we want to see her. Maybe we can bring her back and stuff like that. So, listen. So let's get a little more personal.
Sure.
How's your wedding plans coming?
It's good. I constantly set reminders on my phone for things I just need to check on or check off the list. But overall, in a good place. It's about 7 months away and feeling good. We haven't gotten to the fun design part yet. So I'm really anxious.
So you have the venue and.
Yep. All the vendors are squared away. But as far as what it's going to look like and flowers, we haven't touched that yet. So I'm very excited.
You have time.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's an exciting time for you.
Yes, it definitely has been. It's interesting to plan a wedding from afar, not in DC, because I know DC so very well. But it gives us an excuse to go home to family once in a while.
Oh, that's good. So let's talk about career path, because we have men and women who are listening. Doesn't matter your age, if you're restarting, or what is your advice that you did for your career path that you would pass on to a young woman or a young man that's, maybe in college or just finished? What was your career path? We know about your career. What would you advise?
I would say trust your gut. If you don't feel happy if you don't feel like this is a good fit. There's an extent to which you should do your due diligence to push forward and give it a shot. But if you're truly not happy after an extended period of time, it's just not worth it. And to think outside the box. I did not have any retail experience whatsoever. I had not been in fashion at all. So this was a big leap for me, and it's obviously something I'm really happy that I did. But at the end of the day, it's quality of life. And at Kendra Scott, we talk about family a lot. So if you're not getting the time to be with your family or to be happy, then it might be time for a change.
But I think communications and PR was a good fit, and you kind of made your niche.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a lot more news writing when I was in school, but it really set me up for a lot of the skills that I need for my job today.
And selling a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that are actually in sales, and I see a lot of what they do parallel what I do.
It's hard. Sales is hard because you're like I can sell my brand, I can sell what I do, and a lot of times I am selling other brands. For you being here, it's a sell because I believe in it, but it's definitely as a specialization, a knack that you have, that you're going to be able to sit down, be positive, and be able to sell your product. How do you start your day?
It's a great question. What's so great about my role is that not one week or even day really looks the same. Mondays are usually calls and video calls, so I will hop back to my apartment and take some video calls with our team in Austin later today. But I usually make my checklist first. So there might be items that are carrying over from the day before or the week before, and I make my checklist and I prioritize, let's start with the biggest project first. Let's get that off the list first. But coffee, good breakfast, and a checklist, and that's pretty much my starting point.
So is it a positive flow? Because I know when I wake up, coffee, and then I write in my journal.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and then I start the day and go on, but it doesn't always start like, some days it's like, ugh.
A little tougher.
Yeah, a little challenging mentally. So I find that it's mental first, and then what's really going on, and then tackling it. Do you find any of those things, or do you just wake up like, hey, I'm so happy today is here?
A lot of that depends on the weather.
Okay. You too? Because if it's like cloudy for more than 2 or 3 days, I'm like,
it makes it tough, But, not to harp on this too much, I do work for a brand that's just super bright and positive, and we make beautiful things and have a beautiful mindset. So whenever I'm feeling like I'm having a tough day or my to-do list is overwhelming or I'm just kind of lagging a little bit, I think about we're helping people and we are focusing on a really fun culture and brand. So that's always something that helps me lift my spirits. I will say I'm lucky that I do have some flexibility. So you saw me in store, on a Saturday, you saw me there last Wednesday. So to be able to pop in and spend time with the team and, see the new product and host these really wonderful community events is fantastic. And then also sitting down, working from home and really, really focusing and strategizing it's been really great for my career and professionally for growing.
Yeah. Do you ever get to Austin?
I do. So we have a company meeting once a year. This year it's pushed to August, and it is right around when I'm getting married. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it. It's usually in February.
Okay.
But I've been a couple of times here and there over the last 4 years, and talk about good weather. I mean, that will instantly lift your spirits getting to Austin.
So that's good. So you guys kind of have that contact with Kendra to know if there's like new developments, if you want to go this way, this is what she's thinking, is the inspiration. Does she give you the freedom to bring thoughts in design-wise or just thought-wise, PR-wise? Do you have that freedom?
Well, I think that's what's so great about our retail marketing team is because we are all in such different markets and different cities. So what is received one way in Austin or in St. Louis is received completely different in DC. So we always do share those recaps and the feedback, and we're very upfront with what is going on in our market. So we're constantly sharing wins and successes and challenges and photos from events and media mentions, and just being very mutually correspondent, where we might need a little bit more help and where things are going really, really well, and let's continue to do that. So we're very fortunate that we have a great line of communication to our headquarters.
So I know it's about marketing and it's about numbers, but it seems like you guys have the pulse of the community. So do you base and merge those two things together? That it's not just numbers, but it is about the pulse of the community?
Absolutely. And I think, one of the best things is when we talk about wins or successes, it's not just about the numbers. We helped X amount of many causes or families this year. Yes, that's a number, but really it's more of an impact. We took our Kendra Cares program to 30 hospitals. Yes, that's a number, but you can't put a measurement on how you make pediatric cancer patients feel. So those non-revenue driving initiatives are just as important and widely celebrated as those where we are, thinking about sales.
Tell us briefly about Kendra Cares.
So it is probably my favorite part of my job. So we are now in 30 hospitals all over the country, children's hospitals. We bring in a mobile version of the color bar, which you saw.
Okay.
And we have completely donated product and stones. So that way we can invite the families in, parents, aunts, uncles, and the patients themselves to kind of step away from their hospital room for a few minutes and build jewelry, design it right there, and walk away with it. And we also bring it bedside as well for those who are in isolation.
Wonderful, wonderful. As we wind up, any last thoughts that you would like to leave with our listeners and now viewers for YouTube? Some lasting thoughts that you want to impart, a mission statement, or just something that we should remember about Kendra Scott jewelry?
Absolutely. Another thing that we always say, and you'll see it on some of our marketing cloud on our stores, is what matters to you matters to us. So if you have a cause or a mission that you care about, reach out to us. We want to hear about it. We want to help. And with Valentine's Day around the corner, we're saying gift with heart. So if you are going to give a special gift to yourself or someone else, more than likely, if you purchase something from Kendra Scott, it's going to have an impact somewhere, and it's going to be a heartfelt gift.
And do we also encourage those who may not have a significant other or dating to go and buy something for yourself?
Absolutely. And
right?
we're hosting Galentine's Day events in almost all of our stores.
Okay.
So, DC Mom's Blog is having an event in Bethesda on the 13th. We have those Fair Girls coming in on the 12th.
Okay.
So go in, treat yourself, have some sips and sweets. We always have those on hand. And just celebrate loving yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. Trust
Exactly.
me. So thank you so much for coming in, Devin Carroll. You have been so wonderful. I love the spirit and all that I feel when I go into Devins, to Kendra Scott.
You can call it Devin.
You can call it Devin, yeah. Thank you
That's
so
a
much. You're a great
compliment.
representative of Kendra Scott.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Inside Style, DCRadio.gov, 96.3 HD4. We'll see you next time.
In DC, for DC, DC Radio, 96.3 HD4, and DCRadio.gov.